A bunch of congressional Democrats have said that they are not going to attend the inauguration, as though President Trump cares at all. House Democrats who will skip the inauguration include Bonnie Watson-Coleman of New Jersey, Adam Smith of Washington, Deborah Ross of North Carolina, Donald Bayer of Virginia, Steve Cohen of Tennessee, Kwasi Mfume of Maryland, Jasmine Crockett of Texas, Sean Casten of Illinois, Delia Ramirez of Illinois, Ilhan Omar, of course, of Minnesota, and I'm sure many others will be joining. Now, this is a stupid path for Democrats, honestly. One of the reasons is the American people would like to see Democrats work with President Trump where appropriate. It is a foolhardy plan to simply preemptively fight President Trump. One of the people who knows this is apparently the only Democrat with a brain at this point, John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania. According to Axios, Fetterman is on an island as he reaches out to MAGA. Quote, Senator John Fetterman has become a voice of bipartisanship, making moves that he tells Axios are, quote, responsible and completely appropriate, but that are putting him on an island apart from other Democrats. As the vast majority of Democrats on Capitol Hill fume over many of Donald Trump's cabinet picks and his for a second term, Fetterman is showing a rare willingness to engage with parts of MAGA world. It's easy to think Fetterman could be a new version of Democrat turned independent Joe Manchin. That would be wrong. He's a reliable Democratic vote, but he's emerging as an independent voice within his party simply by emphasizing the need to talk more with the other side. So, for example, he met with Pete Hegseth, or he's going to meet with Pete Hegseth this week, President Trump's pick for SecDef. He also met, for example, with Elise Stefanik, President Trump's pick for UN ambassador, and he's already said that he's going to vote for her. This is smart. Fetterman is, again, a very staunch Democrat. He's going to vote with the Democrats 95% of the time. But he also understands that if he's going to defy President Trump's agenda, then he better have a good reason to do so. And right now, it just appears that Democrats are still fulminating over having lost the election. They literally cannot understand how they lost to President Trump again. And I think that's because they fundamentally misunderstand the American people. Nowhere have I seen this better exemplified than in Tim Walz. So Tim Walz, you'll remember Tim Walz. Remember, he was the weirdo. He was the inflatable at the tire store near the freeway who ran for vice president with Kamala Harris. You remember him? I know, he's so forgettable. It really is kind of funny. You struggle to come up with the name of the Democratic nominee, and it's been 5 weeks since the election. Pretty incredible. Well, Tim Walz was on Minnesota Public Radio, and he said he can't understand how they lost. After all, he's poor. What? So your argument for being vice president of the United States was you're bad at finances and never earned money? Why would that possibly be a good argument for why you should be the heir to the presidency? That makes no sense at all. Like, you being unsuccessful over the course of your relatively long life, because Tim Walz is currently 60 years old. That is a terrible argument for why he should be vice president. But he seems to think that solidarity in poverty is somehow a winning ticket for the American people. It never was. The American people would actually like to, succeed. The American dream is not to be like Tim Walz. It is to be like J.D. Vance. Here is Tim Walz failing to understand the American people.
How in the world did we lose to a billionaire or a venture capitalist when we were making the case of a county attorney and a high school teacher? And we were focusing on cost of groceries, cost of health care, those types of issues that should have really resonated. We need to figure out, and whoever does it at the party level as we build out, how do we reach those groups that we lost in? And it was many of them. How did we lose Hispanic groups? Losing Puerto Ricans in Allentown after Donald Trump's at a rally where they talk about Puerto Rico being garbage. And I think for whatever reason, there was a distrust that people really, that the Democratic Party stood with that group of working people.
So again, your argument is that they should have solidarity with you because you were poor? Now remember, Tim Walz actually ran on this. He ran on the idea that you should have solidarity with him because he had no real estate holdings and no stocks, which, by the way, is a terrible way to invest. That's how you end up at 60 years old with no money. Truly. You want financial advice? Invest. Take the money that you're making and put it in the stock market. Put it in, if you don't know anything about investment, put your money in an index fund. Even if you do know something about investment, you should put your money in an index fund and just leave it there and don't touch it. Don't sell when the market goes down. Don't buy when the market goes up. Just get in the market. Do dollar cost averaging. Just keep buying into the market. Buy real estate when you have the opportunity to do so and just hold. Buy and hold for long periods of time. But again, this is the same guy who went out on the campaign trail and suggested that J.D. Vance was a sellout for having risen from relatively impoverished background with a horrifying family background to become a Yale law graduate after having served in the military and then running for vice president after being a senator. Like, that's a crazy pitch. We'll get to more of this in a moment. First, you have an opportunity to open an IRA in gold with Birch Gold and receive free silver delivered to your home. During this special holiday season, Birch Gold is offering a complimentary 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchased. The best part is there's no out-of-pocket cost to you. Here's how it works. Simply convert your existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, and Birch Gold will send your free silver coins directly to your home. Now, you might be thinking, why do I need to diversify into gold? Well, here's the thing. One of the most significant issues is our national debt. The fact is, this is important, our nation is broke. Debt is a house of cards that cannot be quickly dismantled. For as long as the economy is sitting on that house of cards, the strategy remains the same, diversification. That's exactly why I buy gold from Birch Gold. So you should take action the way I have. Text BEN to 989898 before December 18th. Get a free info kit on gold and claim your eligibility for free silver on qualifying purchases from Birch Gold. Do this before December 18th. Again, text BEN to the number 989898 for peace of mind that lasts longer than 4 years. Again, text BEN to 989898 and talk to my friends over at Birch Gold about how you should diversify. But I think that a lot of Democrats fundamentally do not understand the American people. And there is this disconnect. And that disconnect is, I think, being radically exacerbated, by the nature of social media. Social media radically exacerbates the disconnect between the American people and the elites who write for the media and who are on social media. Social media encompasses a very narrow slice of the American people. So just to take one example, there is a poll that is now out with regard to Luigi Mangione. Okay, so this poll is from RMG Research, polled 1,000 people, and what they found was that 53% of Americans thought that Luigi Mangione, who is the guy who shot the United Healthcare CEO allegedly, that he was a villain. Only 10% thought he was a hero, and 22% said neither. Now, online, those numbers are probably reversed. Online, you would suggest 80-90% of people think that this person is some sort of hero. Also, if you're online, you tend to believe that literally every American hates their health care. Now, every American hates dealing with insurance companies, but that's true whether you're talking about a car insurance company. It's true whether you're talking about a life insurance company, except for Policy Genius. It's true for pretty much all insurance companies. People don't like dealing with insurance. Do you like? I don't like. No one likes dealing with insurance companies. It's annoying and terrible. However, polling tends to show that Americans don't despise their own health care. In fact, they don't want to lose their doctor. They don't want to lose their health care. Here is Harry Enton from CNN explaining.
Sometimes you talk about approval of Congress versus approval of your own congressman. People don't like Congress, but they like their own congressman. Something similar is going on here when you talk about the nation's healthcare system or the healthcare in the nation versus your own healthcare. Your own healthcare. Look at this. Excellent or good. The quality of it. 71% say it's excellent or good. How about the coverage of it? 65% say that their coverage is excellent or good. How about satisfied with the cost? A majority, 58%, say that they're satisfied with the cost. So the bottom line is this. You wonder why the healthcare system in this country stays the same. It's because people don't like healthcare in sort of the abstract, but when it comes to their own healthcare, a lot of Americans actually are pretty gosh darn satisfied.
Again, that's what the poll statistics actually show. Again, there's a second poll that was done from the Center for Strategic Politics at UHC. And what they found is that 61% of Americans had a negative view of Luigi Mangione, the alleged shooter. Only 18% had a positive view. As for Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, 35% had a negative view. 19% had a positive view. The rest didn't know. And that includes, by the way, a plurality of Americans who had a negative view of United Healthcare, which all seems relatively normal. But the reaction from the media is so utterly disconnected, and from Democrats is so utterly disconnected. Okay, let us make something clear. What Luigi Mangione did is a terrorist attack. It is a terrorist attack when you kill someone in order to, quote unquote, raise the issue. If you kill somebody in order to raise the issue, that is the nature of terrorism. You're seeking to bring attention to the issue by doing murder. And what the American body politic should do, and what everybody should basically do, is if a terrorist wants you to talk about the problems with the healthcare system, you shouldn't give them what they want, or you're incentivizing people to kill people. Now, we should absolutely have long-form conversations about the healthcare system in the United States. And when I say long form, I mean informed conversations, because let's be real about this. People don't know bleep about the healthcare systems of the United States. They really don't. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.